You you sold drugs to a priest? Like, how does that happen? Were you in the confessional and you put it through the screen? It's
There are
like,
so many times
"Bless
I
me,
ask
Father, for
myself.
I have sinned."
Welcome to this episode of Miccio Monday. I'm your co-host Bill Staxx and my host Kathrina Miccio. How are you?
Ooh. How are you, Bill?
I'm
I'm
doing great.
amazing.
I love this show. A lot of people are anticipating our shows every week,
I know, it's going really well. I'm so happy.
and the guests
Really
are getting better and
better
better.
and better.
Not
It's
not
so
not
great.
that the other guests aren't good,
No,
because shout out to
no.
Ori.
No, it's just different. Everything's different. I'm learning something different every day.
Yeah, and
It's
today
so
we're gonna
good.
we're gonna have Kristy. Her name's Laschober, and she was arrested for selling drugs to a priest.
That
She got caught with her boyfriend. She
how do
did
you do that?
5 years in federal prison.
That's insane. I don't know how that happens. I
So
can't
you're gonna
imagine how that could happen.
you're gonna get to ask her all the questions you want, and you're gonna find out why it happened
Okay.
right here
Did
on
it happen in
Miccio
the
Monday.
confessional? I mean, where?
I know, where do you meet the priest to give him the drugs? Oh my
I
god,
don't
at the baptism or something? I don't know,
bless
but
me,
it's
Father,
yeah, for I have
for I
sinned.
am sinning.
It's crazy. Where she's gonna be here any minute, and she's gonna explain explain.
Yep,
It's pretty wild.
it's very wild.
Have you ever heard anything like that in your
I've
life?
never heard of anything like this, and I cannot wait to hear all about it.
It's gonna be good.
It's nuts.
It really is. So we have a couple other guests lined up too that are going to be coming on very soon.
Oh,
Yeah, and
I
they're all like banging the door down to come on this show. Some
was
guys are like, "I've never been to prison, but I just want to meet Kathrina." Like, go to prison, come out, and then you could come on
go
the
to
show.
prison. Yeah. No, don't
Yeah.
go to prison. Nobody should go to prison.
Well, I
Just hit
mean,
me up on Instagram.
if
It's
they
okay.
haven't been to prison, they can't really come on the show, right?
No,
I
but
mean,
well,
if we have an
you know what? I think we as long as they were reformed from something bad, from doing something bad, even maybe if they weren't in prison,
yeah.
if they did something bad and now they're really doing something good for for the community, for themselves, and they're living a better life, then I think that's fine. We should have them on.
I know. I tell people, don't look at my past. Look at from when I changed my life forward,
Yes,
because
that's
that's
right.
that's what you
Always look forward.
judge.
Always look forward.
That's what people should
Always
be
have
like.
to look forward in life. Don't ever
Yeah,
look back and regret things, you know?
there's
You
moments. There's
Yeah,
moments.
I know, but you have to forgive yourself and live a better life and go
Well,
on.
I found purpose now that we have Michio Monday.
Yeah. Your
We-
life is completely different.
yeah, presented by Chattin with Staxx. So if anyone wants to be a sponsor or put your product on the show,
Yes.
product placement, reach out to us. If you want to be a guest on the show, hit up the email at billstacks2021. We got a lot of good things coming. We're going to do something for Thanksgiving. I'm going to volunteer on Thanksgiving down at the community outreach place. this
You know
Thanksgiving.
what? We could also, we have access to creating commercials too. We have a whole production company. I'm associated with a production company because I'm an actress and I've made films. And if you want a commercial created at, low cost, we can do that for you and have it on our show.
You've done a lot of commercials in your past, right?
I've done commercials. I've never produced a commercial, but I've produced film. So,
I have. I did a commercial for a car company.
there you go. All
Yeah,
right.
I
Well,
did. I
between
did
the
a
2
couple
of us,
different ones.
we could
Just
whip
small,
out a bunch of commercials for any of our sponsors, whatever
definitely.
your product is.
Yeah, and we're trying to give back to the community if there's any
A
nonprofit.
not-for-profit. Yeah,
Yeah,
not-for-profit. So everything is gonna be, written off. Whatever, whatever you donate will be, tax deductible.
yeah. They
And
always give
we're
me a
also
paper.
going to be, connecting, with a, type of, charity. We're not 100% sure yet, because we both want, a lot. I could name a zillion charities for cancer because I had cancer twice, for, animals for I don't know, Bill, what on that end, what would
For
there
people,
be?
for homeless outreach,
For
for
homeless,
people in the
yeah.
community, veterans. There's all kinds of drug addiction. There's a
Tell
lot
your
of different
story
things.
about when we met in the city, and then I left, and then you met that homeless man.
Oh man,
What you
he
did.
humbled me so much. I
Well,
met
and
this
that was
man.
amazing that you did this for this man. It was so
I wanted
nice.
to give him my shoes. But I couldn't walk home with no shoes on. But
No, you had to go to Connecticut,
I
and
gave
you're in
him a pair of
Manhattan. What are you gonna
socks
do with no shoes?
and a shirt. But it's like wow, I appreciate having sneakers. Like it's crazy. He's sleeping on the floor. So this guy comes up to me, and I'm waiting for the train to come. I'm outside the station, and he walks up to me, and he's like, "Hey, can you watch my back while I sleep for a little while?"
No.
And I'm like, "Wow." And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'll watch your back." And I still saw he didn't have any shoes on. His socks were all tore up and wet. So I went in my bag. I got him a pair of socks. I was gonna bring an extra pair of shoes too. I would have been able to give him a pair of shoes if I did. But it just goes to show you how much people take things for granted.
And
You
we had
know,
just come from Italy, the, Italian
Italy.
eatery, and,
Yep.
you took the bread.
I
We didn't
took
like
the bread and I
bread.
gave him the bread.
Bread, they make it here. You have to take the bread.
And it's like
And you ended up giving him the bread. That's amazing.
and he goes, "Is this really from Italy?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
Italy."
Italy.
But yeah, he was really grateful. And he said, like, when I was leaving, he's like, "Man, God bless you." He's like, "I
Aw,
see big things happening for you." And I'm like, wow,
aw.
like it humbles you a lot, you know?
Sure. Anything that you do good, you know, and warms your heart, that's a really, really good thing.
Don't expect anything in return. I never expect anything.
No, no. There's a lot of people in the world that do expect.
I just
Right.
want to live right. And there's a lot of things going on in the world that's like terrible right now at the
Oh,
moment.
it's so
I
horrible what's
like
happening.
going through those scrolls and seeing all that war. It's
It's
terrible.
there's so much going on that's just, it's so sad. It's so sad. I was
It
worried
really is.
about you getting on the train to go back to Connecticut because I know that there were protesters at Grand Central
They were
stopping people from getting on the train because
Yeah,
yeah,
they shut
I
down the
was
whole train station. So they're all protesting in there. It says "Free Palestine" on the side of the building. I'll put a
see,
clip of that.
I mean, why, that I really don't agree with stopping, civilians from going home or, it's like, why stop them from getting on the train? That's not gonna stop the war. That's
It's
not
not gonna
gonna stop
benefit.
what's happening.
They're trying
I
to
mean,
get
I
their
know that they're
voices
trying to
heard, I
make
guess.
of course they wanna be heard, but
Yeah.
why do they have to stop people from going home? You
I know
know?
it's just an inconvenience for people, and it's like
Yeah.
not a lot of people got arrested. Like I think 400 people.
Yeah,
They
just
did it in London too.
just do it right. Do it right, do it legally, and don't upset, don't inconvenience
It seems like
people.
people want you to pick a side. I'm not on any side. I'm for peace. I want there to be
That's not
peace.
gonna help by, you're ready to go home, you have to feed your family, you have to feed your pets or, just get home and, that it's not gonna stop the war.
And now here is our guest, Kristy Lapsober. Lapsober?
Laschober, yep.
Laschober.
You
Hi,
got it. Hello.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So the show is Miccio Monday. She has absolutely no experience with the criminal justice system. I've been to prison myself, only did state time, but we are really intrigued by your story. She's like, wow.
Yeah,
So
no,
maybe you could,
little bit. Just
yeah, maybe you could explain what brought you to federal prison and
Hmm.
like what, like where did
Well,
it all
but,
start?
I mean, Bill kind of told me that you you sold drugs to a priest. Like, how does
Yeah.
that happen? Were you in the confessional and you put it through the screen? It's
There
like,
are so many times
bless
I
me,
ask
Father, for
myself.
I am sinning.
Right. No.
No.
There's so many times I've asked myself that same thing, like, how did I end up doing what I'm doing right now? So yeah, I was addicted. I had relapsed and I bought extra to not have to pay so much. And then one thing led to another. Someone told me about some guy in Connecticut. I didn't know he was a priest at the beginning. And
Mm.
that's how that started. And we shipped drugs to who they now call Monsignor Meth, who I still had never met yet.
Oh, you sent it to him.
Yeah.
You didn't. Oh, okay.
I never met him.
Oh, all right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
But
because it sounds like you were in church or something like, oh, I was selling drugs to the priest.
No,
like,
not at all.
he
No.
was he an undercover priest? Like what?
No, you know what?
And then how do you get caught doing that?
Addiction really hits every, it doesn't really matter who you are when you're bit by that and you have
Course.
that thread running through your body that
Yeah.
grabs onto
I mean, we're
addiction.
joking about it, but I know that
Oh
it's
yeah, no,
serious,
yeah,
of course.
seriously. So
Yeah.
yeah, so he used and sold himself.
Oh.
Yes.
Did he get caught first? Or did you get caught first?
We got caught at the exact same moment across the several states, which, it's funny. He had said to me once on the phone, he's like, Kristy, just so you know, if anything ever happens, like I made my bed, I'm laying in it. And I thought, that's kind of an odd thing to say, but
Yeah. So he kind of had an idea.
he must. Well, you know what? When you're doing something like that, like one of you is going to be like, hey, we should stop because it's not like Chad, who I went to prison with. He goes, Chris, it's not if, it's when. And so the problem is one of us would be on the, oh my God, we got to stop, while the other ones will like, oh, one more time. So it was never in sync. And so the priest was on his way to London, and the marshals got him at the airplane. They got us in the Las Vegas hotel room. They got my ex-husband, who's a narcotic officer in Orange County, California they got everyone at the same time.
Wow.
I didn't know that they did that.
What were the drugs? Cocaine or
Methamphetamine and GHB.
Was it a lot? Like what was the
GHB?
quantity?
What is that?
GHB is kind of like ecstasy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it a lot? A lot of drugs?
We shipped a lot.
Wow. So what was your life like? Like what was your home life like?
The funny thing is, I had a great home life. The only thing that a lot of people get mad at me for not talking about is that I was born with a lot of health issues. So I was a young, I had my first operation at like 10 hours old. So I was in the hospital a lot as a kid. So I really I attribute not understanding how to deal with emotions without drugs. So I was given lots of massive amounts of pain medication for many years. And all throughout my entire life, I've had like 40 operations. So I was always taking pain medication whenever I wanted to change the way I felt. So that's to my defense, if there is a defense. But I had a mom and dad. We went to Disneyland every summer, grew up in Orange County, California. My dad was an entrepreneur, cabinet maker. My mom was stay at home. I had lots of trips to the hospital, months at a time. So I was in and out a lot. But
do you talk about what?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was called Bacterl syndrome. So it affects different parts of your body. So it like your vertebrae, anus, renal, trach, cardio, limbs, different things like that. So I have like no thumb on my left hand and a small thumb on my right hand, open heart surgery, renal issues, that kind of stuff.
Always having stomach problems, always like dealing with things.
You had a lot of health issues and you were on the medications.
Right. And so I think part of my spirit, which, the doctor said you won't be able to do this and you won't be able to do that. And my personality is like, now I'll for sure have to do it, so that kind of goes on to the adventuresome, spirit that I have. When used for good is great. And when used for negative or when you're detached from yourself, it's not healthy at all. But my mom was someone who wanted to make sure that I was not a sickly kid, always at the beach and bathing suits, even though I had like tubes and things like that. So
while you were at the beach?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. But she wanted to believe that, she wanted you to
have a normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, it is.
That's really nice. But I guess, back then they didn't realize that all these drugs were so addictive, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, even when I was selling shoes at Nordstrom, they were giving me 200 Dilaudid every 3 weeks. So that's a lot of medication, because I appear to be like, I'm fine, but then it was just part of my life. And then so I got sober, meaning like I learned to like not need them. And then different chain of events happened, and deaths and divorce and adoption that fell through. And I went back in the hospital and I was like, and the nurse goes, "Here, Chris, I'll get you a shot." And I didn't need it, but I was like, you know what? I deserve it. I want a little bit of relief. That's all. No one's here. I just want some relief. And I knew that was going to put me on another road, and it did. But so I got a little bit of relief, and then that took me on to selling drugs to a priest.
So can you explain?
I don't think he wasn't the first one, was it?
He was close. Yeah.
Wow.
Can you explain the day that they came and arrested you, and what was it like for them to swoop in, handcuff you and all that? What's it like for you're like a Susie homemaker type of mom and this type of stuff is happening? What's it like?
Well, and I used to be a wardrobe stylist in LA for a long time. So I stopped doing that as you're doing more drugs and selling, because you can't keep up the facade. I couldn't, of like, I'm fine, when I was deep into doing all of this stuff. But I was in Las Vegas at a hotel room, and we thought the feds might be after us because of something that we saw in San Clemente. There was a man that was on the phone pushing a baby carriage down our street, looked disheveled, staring at us. And so I was like, that looks funny. That doesn't look right. And so I got in the car to follow him, and there was no baby in the baby carriage. There was just papers. And I was like, oh, shoot. So then we went back to the house and did what we did to, make sure everything looks good, and headed to Las Vegas, because we actually had tickets to the Consumer Electronics Show that weekend. I know you're
Oh,
balancing.
Thing just like a regular, normal kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but so you didn't have a plan, like if something happens, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna go on the run, and this and that. You didn't have
Let's
no
go to
plans.
Vegas.
Yeah, we let's go to Vegas. But actually it was Vegas or Palm Springs. And I remember it was late at night and we were right at the crossroads and we're like, well, we could go this way or we could go that way, thinking that one way would be better. And we just went to Las Vegas because we already had the tickets. And then they didn't come for like 2 days. And the interesting thing is Chad, who I was with, he woke up then a few hours before they were going to come, like in a panic. He's like, Chris, they're here. They're going to come. They're going to come right now. I know they're coming. I'm like, Chad, there's no way they would have let us, take everything out. They're, do what we did, drive to Las Vegas, stay a few nights. There's no way they would let us do all that.
Yeah.
But they did. That's exactly what they did. And so they got, like I said, the priest and us. And so the hotel room. So then he goes, okay, Chris. And then he went back to sleep. And then,
why would they want to do that if it was the cops from that area? Why would they want to go?
It wasn't the cops. It was the marshals, because the
It's
marshals
the
were federal.
The
they're
feds
It
have
doesn't matter where you are. It's for the whole state or.
Yeah, they can let you go because
They
they already
did.
have their case. Once they have their case, you're done. Like there is no, we
all
need
right.
more evidence. They
It
have a
doesn't matter
case,
where you are. Okay.
you're done.
Yeah. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so I was like, wow, those maids are making a lot of noise in the hotel room. And then all of a sudden, bam, door springs
They
open.
kick the door open like something out of a movie.
Out of a movie, yeah, screaming, "Where's the guns? Where's the guns?" I'm like, I don't even have a gun. We had no guns, and I mean, we're just a couple from Orange County. If you see like the headlines, it's like couple from Orange County who goes to movies and concerts and travels, and college graduate and all that.
A whole other life.
Yeah.
Secret
A whole other life. Yeah.
So when they handcuff you, parade you in front of people at the hotel and everything.
We were on the floor, on the carpet, and we were kind of like hands behind. Mind you, I was married to a police officer, so here I am. I've never been handcuffed before. And so I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, and that was the first time I was like, oh, we're not getting out of this. This is bad. Yeah, and so they asked for all the stuff that we didn't have, and we walked all through the hotel.
Did you have drugs there? Mm-hmm. Oh, you didn't. You had nothing. Wow.
So they paraded us out. Yep, got in the car and was in Las Vegas
through the casino and past people.
Everyone's staring at you like, oh man, what'd she do?
Right. Yeah. It's terrible, right? Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah.
Wow.
So what was your first step from there? They bring you to the police department. Where do they bring you next? Do they bring you to court right away?
I think I don't know exactly what happened, but I know my body like shut down. It's like, this is too much. So I don't remember. I remember being in the back of the police car. I remember being in the detention center there. I kind of faintly in and out remember being in court. They ended up taking me to the hospital, and I was there for a week. I guess my kidneys, something was going on with my kidneys. It was either that or just the
stress.
Amount of stress of what was going on. Yeah, so I was there for a week. I don't remember.
Did they handcuff you to the bed?
Huh?
When you were in the hospital, did they handcuff you to the bed?
I'm sure. I don't remember, but I'm sure they do. Yeah, they always do that.
So what?
Really remember being
how long ago was it?
This is 2013, so 10 years.
Wow.
A little more than 10 years.
Now, when you go to court after the hospital court, do they let you get bond?
The interesting thing is Las Vegas did. They said they were going to release us on our own recognizance. And so we were getting our stuff together. And then immediately they said, wait, they said, Connecticut wants to see you. So we had to wait. And so I never went home from there. So we had to wait there. And go on Con Air. There's really a Con Air, which the ladies were like, you're going to have to go on Con Air. I'm like, there's, you don't know what you're talking about, but they do know what they're talking about. So yeah, so I never went home for 5 years. No, yeah, about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
My house.
So once you left your house in Orange County, you never stepped foot back in that house for 5 years?
No, never. It's sold. I've never been back.
And
all your stuff.
Everything's
what
sold.
happened?
I was in there for more than 15 years.
Wow. So, but what happened to all your things?
My sister actually flew in. She was living in Oregon. She flew in and she said, Kristy, it looked like it was so tossed, like doors off, front door kicked in. And I know we left the front door like unlocked so that in case that would happen, everything disheveled. So she said it was horrible. So she just got a lot of people to take things and give away. And then we did a sale.
Wow. So that's
a lot.
Loss.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a huge loss. Yes.
Yeah. All your pictures and everything, or did your sister get all that?
She got some clothes. She put in Chad's garage because Chad had his own house in San Clemente. Yeah, no pictures.
Nothing.
Wow. Nothing. All my kitchen stuff, my really awesome couch that I loved, everything. So it's a huge loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what's it like going on Con Air, being a female? You've never been to prison before.
Right.
What's that like? You're headed towards Connecticut to go to prison.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is they don't tell you exactly where you're going. So, and then when when they took me out of the hotel, I was wearing like brown leggings and like a camouflage t-shirt. And that's what I was on all through Con Air. This was like in a blizzard too. I talk about that. It was February and there was a big blizzard. So all the marshals were wearing like full like snow gear. So all really you saw was their eyes. They had everything covered, but those of us are wearing whatever clothes we were arrested in and they don't care.
They don't care. They gave you nothing.
No, in fact, Chad was there and he's like, can I give her my sweatshirt? Because he had on a sweatshirt and they said no. So you're in the blizzards, I said, wow. And then, you're all lined up on one side, all the men, a few women. I'm in my head, I'm like, is this really necessary? Like you're shackled. So you have a chain around your waist, chain around your wrists. And then there's a black box that hugs it tight and then chains around your legs. And then, yeah. So I went to...
There's no bathroom on the plane, right? Is there a bathroom on the plane?
I think there was a bathroom on the plane, yes. Because we were in the air from Las Vegas to Connecticut. It was a while. But then, you're all the guys, you hear clang. It's crazy. You're like, all the chains up and down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the marshal, so the women are in the front. There's only 6 maybe of us. And the marshal's in front of you, facing you to make sure you don't say anything to anybody, you don't talk or anything.
Yeah. Because all the guys are trying to talk to you.
Sure.
Women in there, 100%, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's snowing in Connecticut when you get off the plane?
Blizzard. Like whiteout.
Bradley International Airport, right?
No, we got off at Newark Airport.
What month was this? What month was it?
February.
Wow.
2013. Yeah, it was blizzard. Yeah.
They bring you to Danbury, Connecticut?
Yeah, well, I was supposed to go to Rhode Island because it was a pre-detention center, but they forgot about me there. So I was the last one standing in the blizzard while everyone went to their vans to go to the places. And then Danbury van grabbed me and said, they forgot about you, so you're going to have to come with us. And they're like, Kristy, in fact, the guy was nice. He said, Laschober, we're going to have to put you in solitary confinement because you're not really supposed to be here. And I said, can I just sit on the couch, like on the little chair here with you? He goes, no, but he goes, just look at me. He goes, you'll be okay. And I'll get you out as soon as I can. And I was like,
what was solitary confinement like?
It was, well, once you change your clothes and then, another thing too, when you're first on this journey, you're with other women that are going to their home for the next 10, 12, 15 years. So
Right.
it's starting to hit you like, I'm still thinking this is a big mistake. They're going to know that I'm not bad, and, I'll go home soon. So you don't really realize all that. But then, you see these women going away. The first time I remember saw this young lady went away for 26 years in Danbury. I was like, damn, 26 years. It's a long time. There was a 26 years and a 13 and a 17.
But wait, where was the trial here? I mean,
They had
this is
already
when you
pled
get
guilty.
arrested. She
Yeah.
doesn't understand how it all works. Once you get arrested,
No.
where they put you, who they put you with. Can you kind of explain to
you
her?
don't get a trial?
You can go to trial, but there's a trial penalty. So if you go to trial and you're found guilty, you get 3 times the length of sentence. Right? They don't tell you that.
They're going to
I
offer
knew
you
that.
some time. They're going to offer you, make an offer to you. Like,
they're going to
take
make an
this
offer, a
5
plea
years,
deal.
or we'll
A
give you
plea deal.
15.
Yeah. So
Go to
so
trial and you
for
get
me,
15.
there was a minimum mandatory 10 years. And I was like, I've never been in trouble before. And if I
You had
would
no record, nothing. You had-
no record. And my attorney said brace for 7 years, Kristy, because I guess if it's your first time, you can like take accountability, take responsibility, and they give you a few points off. So he's like brace for 7. And so, but they also were telling me if I were to tell, because everyone kept saying you have to tell, Kristy. Everyone always tells. So there was 5 of us on the case.
Not everyone. John Gotti didn't tell.
Right. And we didn't tell either. And so he's like, Kristy, you better tell. But if that were the case, then Chad would have got like 20 years and I would have got like 3 years. And I was like, and everyone was really mad at me for not telling. But, this is my first experience with all this. So I kept saying, wait, so like, I didn't just stumble on this. I was part of this. So I'm not going to, so you want me to tell on someone that I've been with for several years so that he gets 20 years? And I mean, it didn't make any sense. And there was actually a girl that was in prison there in Rhode Island. And it was very hard for me because my family was like, get out. And she said to me, Kristy, just remember, you have to go to sleep at night. When you close your eyes, whatever decision you make, that's got to be enough. And you have to be comfortable with that when you close your eyes. Wow. And I said, well, I can't tell then. She goes, well, there's your answer. So I went with that. It was like the first time I like did something that I wanted to do and not worried about anyone else getting mad. But, and he's like, Kristy, everyone's going to tell. They tell on their mothers. They tell on their brothers. Everyone tells. But everyone in our case, no one told. Everyone took responsibility for their part and didn't tell on the other person.
So they bring you to like a pretrial sentence holding facility, right? For the feds, kind of like a county jail. So there's other people in there that are fighting their cases. Some people are sentenced. So you're around a lot of no sentence people.
If they are they're only there for a short time and then they're out. But most are not sentenced yet. Mm-hmm. Rhode Island, yeah. So I was there for almost 2 years.
So
not sentenced.
What was it like to walk in there? Did you have any problems, and were you scared of the other inmates once you went into like a pod or whatever it is you went into?
What happens when you first walk through the doors? Like,
it's scary. It is scary. It's scary because you have this like bag that has your like bed stuff, like a towel. I don't remember what was in it, like your pillow and like this towel and
pillow. They didn't have a pillow in the guys' prison.
Yeah, really? I don't remember what was in it.
They gave you a mattress. Yeah, they gave you a mattress. They gave you sheets, a mattress, and an extra pair of clothes. That's it. And a little bag, like when you go to a hotel, some shampoo, and that's it. That's all you get. Here you go.
I remember it was a duffel bag type things.
They make you carry the mattress and stuff through?
No, it's not a mattress, but everything that goes with it, like a
sheet or
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and then you.
And what do you wear? What are you wearing? Like the orange?
I'm wearing. Was I wearing khaki? I think it was khaki, just stretchy pants and a button down, Yeah. And so really it's shocking how you're like, you go through one door and then it clink, clink locks another door. And you're like, I kept thinking, is this all this really necessary? Yeah.
Still in disbelief that this even happened.
And then as soon as the door opens, you hear the CO tell all the ladies, rack up. And everyone's mad because they're in the middle of watching Ellen DeGeneres. They're in the middle
Rack
of
up
meaning get in your room.
Oh,
Because the new girl is here. And so they have to, I guess, it's protection because they don't know who I am. They don't know how volatile I am. So they make everyone go in their room. And so everyone's throwing down the car. They're pissed. They're like, damn, so I'm like, oh, great. I'm already pissing everything.
Yeah, everyone's staring at you through their cell doors, right? When you walk in, are they yelling
Absolutely.
at you and things? Are they yelling stuff?
I don't remember if they were yelling, but they were all like, you have this little square and they're all staring at you. And so they put you in a room and there was this lady. This is a whole other story, another time that we could talk about, but there was
but you said that you had to go to solitary.
Well, that was in Danbury. So I did go to solitary in Danbury.
What was solitary like there?
That experience is what made me cry for the first time because it was so loud and everyone was cussing and screaming and saying mother and hey cousin and sister. And I thought, all these family members here? I was so naive, but they're not family members. They're just
all night, right? The screaming's happening.
Screaming, and then the lady slams the door so hard that I started bawling. I'm like, I'm not gonna make it.
So solitary is just like this a little room.
Yeah, like the movies, like the metal bed, and on the bed there was like a dirty
mattress,
menstrual pad sitting there on it.
Why?
I know. And then there was the little tiny thin mattress and the metal toilet and sink. And I was shivering. I was just shivering. It was cold, and I still was cold from, being in the blizzard. Yeah. So then they got me the next morning and took me to Rhode Island, and that's when I experienced going into the other pod. Yeah.
When
so
you walk into the pod, how many people are in that pod when you walk into it? It's like 60 or more?
No, less, because it's women. So there was probably like 25.
What do you mean a pod?
It's like what they call it, like a big room, like a dorm room.
Oh.
And mine was called iPod, which I thought was hilarious because I was like, I really miss my iPods. Never see those stickers again.
So was it like an open dorm with the beds all out in the?
Oh,
so it's like a gymnasium, or is it like cells, like rooms, different rooms?
There was cells, rooms.
How many people in each room?
Sometimes one, sometimes two, but mainly one. So they told me, so when I went in, another lady who was like cleaning, she looked at me, like whispered, she goes, I don't think she said my name. She didn't know me, but she goes, they're going to lock you in here for 3 days. You're going to be okay. They're not going to give you anything, but I will try to slide like some salt or a pencil under the door. And I'm thinking, this lady does not know who I am. They're not going to lock me in.
They're not going to give you anything to eat or nothing.
No, they'll give you food, but it's like a soy patty and it's really disgusting. So they give you that, but you're in there for 3 days. And so I thought, that's not what they're going to do to me, but they did. And so, every once in a while I'd see a little like salt packet, like go under the door and you realize, oh, that's so loving. You're like, that's so nice. Or like a pencil. Yeah. And then when the doors crack open, after 3 days, I don't know if it's to break you, but you're like, okay, now I have to go meet everyone I'm going to live with for the next year or two,
Your anxiety is rushing, right? Your anxiety, you got all these feelings rushing through your head.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And, what happens is you begin to form kind of friendships. I mean, you just think you're in this huge room of women that are all facing huge fear and uncertainty and pain. And regret and so much, so it's a lot, but after a little while you start to understand who each other is. Like the first
were there some dangerous people too? I mean,
there was one, then I had to, it was like moments that she was trying to fight me, and I thought, oh, here we go. I'm not really a fighter, so I was like, dang, here's the time that I gotta, like, get on the table and kind of be a bitch. Yeah, I did it because everyone's staring at me. Like, you have an African American table over here, you have the Mexican table over here, and so it's like, and there's me, this other girl. I'm like, all right, well, I have to. So I don't even remember what I said or whatever, but the girls are like, okay, girl from Orange County. I'm like, I don't know how they knew I was from Orange County, but so then I proved myself at that point. But yeah, it's crazy.
What was the reason she was wanting to fight you?
She had mental issues. So she was just kind of like that throughout the stay there, and got even a little more crazy.
So there wasn't any particular reason. It was just, yeah. It's just
so then once you go to court and you get this time, right? And you're off to federal prison, are you learning things from the other women in there and what you're going to do and how things are going to go? Are you trying to like take notes?
And how much time did they say that you were
5 years?
5 years.
I got sentenced on my birthday. Oh. I thought for sure they're going to let me out because the van always drove by a PF Chang's, and I was like, I really would like some crispy onion shrimp for my birthday. And the worst part is when your mother is in the courtroom.
Oh.
Like, here's a woman that works so hard to keep me alive, and her face, I'll never forget her fear. This makes me super emotional still. It's like, it's the worst. And then you're shackled going into the courtroom and all of that. And so they gave me 5 years. And so I went back, and then they told me, the judge said that, and this is what a lot of people don't know. The judge will tell you what he recommends. He's like, Kristy, you'll be at a camp in California. Your family will be able to see you. You'll do a drug program. You'll get a year off. It'll be a 3 years max. So he lays out this thing that everyone's like, okay, we can do this. And then when you get sentenced and you get in the van and you're with the feds, they do whatever they want. You don't go to a camp. They send me to maximum security prison in Texas, behind the walls. It's everything.
It didn't matter what the judge says. It's
the exact opposite of what they tell you is going to happen. It doesn't happen. None of it happens.
It doesn't. And I'm like, oh, wait, you made a mistake.
What the judge says.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
What's your Department of Corrections?
What was all the point of doing those kids do what they want anyway?
Right. Why say all that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To appease you so that you'll comply with everything.
Probably.
That's why they do that. Yeah.
Wow. And so you just learn about, you just learn as you go. It's shocking, but yeah, you learn as you go. So that's why I always say, like we really, especially women, I don't know about men, I think we actively work on about 40% capacity of what we are capable of. Because when you're stretched to having to go to prison or do different things that's not normal, you see what you're made of. So you can go through a bunch of shit and go, wow, I did that. I went through that. So now all the other stuff is not that hard. You know what I mean? And you're just so grateful for everything now. But yeah, so I went through it and got home, and,
So what was the craziest thing that you saw while you were in prison? I'm sure you have a crazy story from maybe a fight or anything.
There's lots of fights. I was like, why is that girl taking off her shirt? I didn't know that you take off your shirt so that the person you're fighting can't grab you by your shirt. Did you know that?
No.
I didn't know that. So when a girl took off her shirt, you're like, I gotta get out of here.
What about by your hair? I mean,
right. Yeah, they put their hair up, take their shirt off.
Oh.
It was a whole thing. It's a whole thing. There's so many crazy stuff.
What about the food?
The food was better in Texas than it was in Rhode Island. No vegetable. Like there's no, like a joy would be have an apple or to have like an orange or something.
What about mackerel?
Mackerel, that's so disgusting. I would not eat that.
Ori loves the mackerel. Ori loves the mackerel.
Well, because he said that the food in the cafeteria had cockroaches in it and toenails and things.
Yeah, it did say not for human consumption on the box. I mean, I wish I would have been able to take a picture or do something to show
Not for human consumption?
human consumption. Yes. And so when you're in line
Mackerel?
in the breakfast and you go to get milk and the girl, if she knows you, she'd go like this, like, don't take that. And I'm like, okay, I won't take that. Yeah. But in Rhode Island, it was so much worse. I mean, you get a little soy patty and like a leaf of a lettuce, and it was disgusting. So this was at least an up from that. But I also didn't buy a lot on commissary because I was like, if I get out of here fat, I'll be mad. So I just didn't eat a lot, period, and just went to the gym.
But certain places, you'll starve. You'll starve in there. You'll be hungry at night, especially when you first get locked up and you're sitting in solitary confinement with no food. It's pretty bad.
It is. Yes. Yeah, it is. There's so many crazy stories. I'll have to.
Why didn't you buy? I don't understand. Like, why didn't you get stuff from the commissary?
I got some stuff, but what I found was a lot of the women, that was like a status, how much they can buy. So they would buy, like, their bags would be like, you can buy $300 worth. So I bought a few things. Like I bought like those caramel rice cakes and peanut butter. What else did I buy? I would buy like Swiss Miss. That's the one thing I still do. That's Swiss Miss cocoa, the sugar-free kind. So I would buy little things like that.
And they don't have TVs in the feds. In the state, they let each inmate can buy a TV. You can have a TV in your cell.
That's shocking to me.
Not in the feds.
No, you're up at 6 a.m. in the feds. Yeah. And you're not in your room unless you're sick. And even like once I got really sick and they let you stay in your bed for like a day and then they're like, get back to work. So.
Yeah, because
for work. What were you? What?
I did landscaping. So landscape. So you have your big heavy boots and, mowing lawns and planting flowers and doing all that.
Around the prison? There's like landscaping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grass. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
They make you. I used to buff the floors in the prison I was in.
You did. I've seen that being done. I never did it.
Yeah. Third shift, buffing the floors all night with the Walkman in.
Right. Yeah.
Did you see any corruption with the guards? Did you have any problems with any guards?
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. I experienced something really hard that I'm just now kind of getting over a little bit. So I went into the drug program called RDAP. It's the residential drug program. And so I got sent to Texas, and the ladies there kept saying, Kristy, you can't do RDAP here. They don't graduate anyone. And that's the program. When I completed it, I would get a year off. Well, I'm not going to do drugs. I'm not going to have sex. So, I'll be able to graduate. Yeah. But there were 32 of us that started, and there were 2 of us left. The other 30 had either quit or got kicked out. And I wasn't going to quit. I mean, I'm going home. I'll do whatever you need me to. They end up kicking me out right before I was going to go home. And they said I was inauthentic. What? There was no progress. And so I was so angry. And the lady called me in her office, and she knew I couldn't have children with my medical issues. And she's like, thank God you couldn't be a mother. You would have been a terrible mother. She goes, I bet you're a terrible daughter and a terrible sister. Now get out of my office. Can you imagine?
Like some of these people.
And she was, and here you are, you're in a prison, and then you're getting kicked out. And then she's telling you, thank God you couldn't be a mother. My head is like, something must be wrong with me, because I don't see that I'm that person. But here I am. Like, that's the first time in my life I ever thought it's probably better if I'm not on this planet. Like, I literally, because like and messing with my family, like they still very supportive, but I thought it would be better if I wasn't alive from that. So yeah, I mean, she had no business saying that. So that fueled my like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Luckily, when I went back to work in landscaping, I had a boss who was very good looking. He never spoke, very hard. He said like 3 words a long time that I was there. And I told him, I said, I can't believe I got kicked out. Like what? And he said to me, he goes, listen, he goes, Laschober, I don't think they've met anyone like you in there before. Don't worry about it. Put your head down, work on yourself, and get the hell out. And those are like the most words he's ever said the whole time that I worked there. And when he said that, it kind of soothed my soul a little bit, like, because he could have said, yep, that sucks for you,
Yeah,
but
she's right. It gives you a
yeah.
little bit of encouragement to be like, she's wrong, and this guy in the authority figure is telling you that you're not
made
that
all
bad.
the difference. And so I believed him. Something about me.
So there were men that worked there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, but it's not like that in the men's prison. There's not women working.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was in prison, there was women lieutenants.
Most of the corruption or the sex was women with women. In Harswell, where I was.
Did you have any women try to press on you or hit on you when you were there?
I didn't, because I had a friend who they all liked, and she kind of pretended she was my girlfriend. So yeah. So no, they
fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah. So
it's strange to think like a woman could force another woman to have sex with them. It's like, how does that work?
Well, a lot of times too, they have a thing called gay for the stay, meaning like you're in here for 15 years, 20 years. You'll want to be with a woman. And I remember I kept thinking, could I be gay for the stay? I'm like, I can't. That's not it. That's not who I am. But a lot of women are gay for the stay. So, and maybe they got something from the officers. Maybe they got whatever. Every once in a while they'd see like a pink panty hanging around or some cigarettes or something, and they would get stuff. So they abused their power for sure.
Have you seen any officers having sex with inmates in there?
I just saw inmates with inmates. I never saw the officers.
You never heard of it? You never heard like, oh, this officer's sleeping with this girl?
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah. In fact, a few officers I saw get walked off the compound for having sex. They were women with the women.
Oh,
not men.
Wait, what? What? They were the women guards getting caught having sex with the women prison inmates?
Yep.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
Right. Yeah.
I guess that was an incentive for them to work there. It's like, that's crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So then when you finally find out that you're going to go home, do you get parole? Do you get are you getting a little time off? What is it? Are you walking it to the door?
I didn't. I mean, I had my good time. I didn't get the year off for RDAP. And I got 5 years probation. So they don't do parole in the feds. They do probation. So, and Chad, who I went to prison with, he did the RDAP with flying colors. So he got off. He got home before I did, which was actually a blessing because he kept doing what we were doing before. And so I thought, well, I can't go home to California. And so I was shocked, because
wow.
How did you know? How did you know he was doing what you guys were doing?
I knew when I called, like when I would call him, my gut was like, something's not right. Cause I was with him for a while prior to any drug use. So so I knew. And so my mom and my sister were again, and I thought, let me go to Oregon. And so I did. And I didn't want to go. I thought I was being more punished. I want to go back to the beach. But it was actually a blessing. It was great. It was great. So I stayed there for 5 years, went back to college, graduated with straight A's.
How
And
lo
had this-
how long were you actually in prison? How long
I
was
was there for a little over 4 years.
Oh, you did 4 years.
Mhm.
It's a long time.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Mhm. But, there's so many women in there that had so much more time.
Yeah.
For like tonight, I'm going to an event for Danielle Metz. Her first offense, nonviolent drug here in New Orleans, she got 3 life sentences.
Oh my God.
And
See,
people
that's
worked
crazy.
Was
3
it
life sentences.
now, yeah, we just had a guest on, and it depended on what you were selling too, whether right? He said that
Yeah,
it
whether it
was
was crack, he got
crack
caught with
or
crack and he got 30 years.
Yeah, crack. Well, yeah, crack. They would
no, it was
sentence you 100 times the amount to cocaine. So but now that's changed to I think 8 or 18, and we're trying to get that changed again too. So I do a lot of work in trying to change laws right now for that.
Yeah, and that's
But
where I met you at the summit, the Washington,
yes,
D.C. summit.
yeah.
It was incredible.
So
I even got it offered to go there.
it
Shout
was
out to
great.
Chad Marks.
I'm glad. I'm so glad to meet you there. So it's cool to have a group of people. I love it. Like to have a group of people who've been inside. Like when I was inside, I had no idea anyone was fighting for those inside. So you get out, you still feel alone. You get a job at a hotel, you go back to college, you do the thing, and then you tap
Get a
into
job at a hotel? What do you mean? Like
Oh, I
this
got a job there, like at a hotel at the front
Yeah,
desk.
because it's hard to
Oh,
get back into society. Did they ask you, do you have a criminal record when
yeah.
you got out?
Yeah, well, at the halfway house, they gave me a list of jobs that people would accept those with a felony.
Oh,
But because of my fighting spirit, I said, if I'm working at a gas station, this is not going to do. I'm not going to be happy here.
yeah.
So I said, so can you give me 2 weeks and I'll find my own job? So I found a job at a hotel, and he didn't ask me about my backgrounds. And
It wasn't on the application?
no, mm-mm.
No. Wow.
No. And so then
Well, how did you feel about yourself when you came out? Were you fit? Were you
I
like
was fit. I was the best shape ever, but
Wow.
mentally I had a lot of shame and guilt.
Okay. So mentally you weren't there, but you looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Was
Yeah,
it everything you expected when you got out? Was it what you thought it would be when you were in there? Was it
about
everything you
financially?
thought
Like,
it would be?
also, like, did they how did you have money to to live? Where did you live?
I went to the halfway house.
A halfway house. What is
Yeah.
that?
It's a place that is like a transition. So when you get out, you're still property of the federal government, but
Okay.
you go to this halfway house. It's like halfway between home and prison. And so
Right.
you acclimate, you can have a pass maybe to go to church or something.
It's
like
just a
that.
house with
feel like
with rooms with roommates, right? Kind of.
Well, mine was an actual jail. So
Oh,
it was the local jail still. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
local jail. So
jail?
it
That
was
doesn't seem
local.
like a halfway house.
Right. It was a local jail, but luckily it was like 15 minutes from my sister and my mom's house. So they could come by and bring some food, although they were still very like authoritative, like, let's look through your, I'm like, do you have to have that attitude? Like, come on, I hate that. So I'm the opposite of that. But I had a PO that everyone said was going to be the biggest bitch ever. I was like, great.
Yeah.
But she was so nice. I loved her. She was great. We're still friends. And I went to a reentry court that they said you get a year off. And I'm like, oh, yeah, great. I heard that before. But it's, a room where the judge helps you get to wherever you need to go and remove barriers. It's beautiful. And she's the one that's like, why aren't you in college? And I was like, well, I don't know if I'm too old. And she told me all the reasons why I wasn't too old. And she was get into college. So I did. And they helped me with my papers and I got straight A's. And so now the judge was actually the one.
What did you go for? What was the major?
I went through innovation and leadership.
Oh, wow.
It was cool.
Oh, that's
So
amazing.
the judge actually is who I spoke with when we were in Washington, D.C. She's like, I love her. Like, she's my person. Like, she refers to me as my dear friend, which is so beautiful.
Oh,
The
that's
opposite of what you hear in prison. And so she's
yeah, unlike that idiot that said that you were worthless and you shouldn't have kids. And
Can you imagine?
no, oh no.
They
No.
must really hate their self. I mean, look, they're probably still in that job. Look where they're at. Look where you are.
Yeah, they're just bullies. They just get the job to be bullies.
And my mom's like, you know what? You go to that prison and you become her boss, Kristy. Let's go. Whatever you need to do to get there. Yeah. And so it's funny that I wrote a book on authenticity, even though I got kicked out of prison for being inauthentic.
Damn.
Amazing.
Perfectly flawed.
Yeah.
Wow. I have to get that. That's amazing.
The link will be in the description of this video. If you want to buy it, I'll send you a copy.
Yeah.
I get 20% on all sales.
All right. Yeah.
Well,
So
we
it's
really
cool to be
appreciate
around people
Yeah.
doing the work. You know, there's so many amazing people who've been inside. And my favorite thing to do, I wasn't going to tell anyone when I got out. I'm like, I'm in Oregon. No one knows. But it's like the stigma is so prevalent that I want to squash it. So I love standing up in front of audiences and, you know, all dressed up and say, I just got out of federal prison. And they shocked. I'm like, yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's like the idea that you have in your head about the women in prison is not right. So there's a huge group. I have lots of women around the country and men too, that are just great. And that we fight and they're the best. Like, I love my Instagram, man. I like flip through. I have so many different kinds of people that I love. Like, my heart loves them. So it's cool. It's fun now that I'm out and doing the work and stuff.
Yeah. So what are you doing for work? What do you do now?
I work for an organization called Operation Restoration in New Orleans. So I go back into the women's prison and I help them
Oh my God.
assessments and remove barriers. And I work in policy. In Oregon, I was able to do ban the box, pass the law to remove the criminal history box on all college applications so they can apply without having to disclose their felony. So wow. I'm really proud of that, you know, to have someone be able to pass a law is cool. So we're just going.
That's amazing. That's what this show is all about reform.
Definitely.
Yes. And humans.
Something good out of what happened to you. I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
For sure. And the cool thing is, you know, now that she said that I was such a horrible person, I'm like, it made me really delve into myself. Like, who am I? And so that's why I wrote the book. And you know, now I love every part of myself. I don't have to pretend I'm something. I don't have to appease anybody else. I'm just Kristy, and here's who I am. And, you know, whether you like it or not, and that's freedom, you know.
Well, you're always welcome to come back on Miccio Monday. And it's been an absolute great interview. Got a lot of information.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you for having me.
One day, you know, soon we're hoping to do this you know, like live in a studio.
Love that.
So yeah, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, for sure. I love New York. I haven't been back in a long time, but or if you come to New Orleans, it's wild out here.
I love New Orleans.
Isn't it the best?
I love the food.
Yes.
They drink a lot. That's for sure. They start at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
I know. And every time I'm you know, like I said, I was in good shape when I got out. I'm like, damn.
Oh,
I'm like, I am never going to be skinny again.
I couldn't be there for longer than like 4 or 5 days because I would gain 10 pounds.
Oh yeah. I'm about
like,
to eat up.
Talking about vegetables is like, oh yeah. Okay. Well, we have French fries. Yeah. I'm like,
no,
that's not a vegetable.
You should hear the shit I get at work for eating a salad. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to leave a link for your book in the description of this video. If anyone wants to buy it, check it out in the description, and we'll follow up with you, and you know, we'll do a reunion show of the Miccio Monday. Definitely.
I love it.
Oh, Kristy,
thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
I'm going to hit you up on Instagram.
Okay, do for sure. It's under Kristy Laschober.
I'll send her a link.
Okay, sounds good.
Definitely
Bye, you
have a great
guys.
night. I appreciate
Yeah,
you.
have a
Thank
great time
you.
tonight. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
There it is. Episode
He's
3
such
of
a nice person.
Miccio Monday. I just got
Yes.
some really sad news. My
What?
grandfather just passed away.
Your grandfather?
Yeah, my mom just came in the room and said your grandfather just died. He was in hospice down in Florida.
Oh,
And
God.
yeah.
I'm so
This
sorry.
it's life, you know? That's stuff you gotta go through in life.
When was the last
And
time you saw him?
it's been about a year.
Oh,
Probably a year. Yeah, he was down in Florida. I didn't think he would pass away. It was like he wasn't sick or
well,
anything.
you
It's
said he
just
was
all
in
this.
hospice.
He was acting weird for some reason. They said that they were going to keep him in this home for a little while. And all of a
Well,
sudden, he like
when
took a
you're in
turn for
hospice,
the
you're
worse.
terminal.
Yeah, it was weird. They put him in this home and they said it was hospice, but they were only keeping him comfortable. They didn't tell us like that he had any major problems. And now he passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's life, you know?
Ugh.
It's all
Was your
good.
mom's father?
Yeah.
Oh,
My mom's stepfather, so like he was
oh,
there for her ever since she was a little girl.
oh. I'm sorry. Tell her I'm so sorry.
She'll be okay. But this was an absolute great interview. It really was. She
It
doesn't
was.
look like a drug dealer.
She was doing it online, through the mail, right? So
I
it wasn't
think
like
so.
she was, huh?
Yeah, I think so. So I think it kind of like makes you feel like you're not doing anything wrong, maybe
Yeah. It's a little less that you're not handing it off.
because you're removed from it. You
Yeah.
know, you're just on there typing and doing whatever. You're not
Mhm.
you don't feel like you're doing anything wrong, but you are.
I
5 years in prison.
yeah.
That's a long time. And you
So
heard her. She got ripped right out of her home. They took
yeah.
everything she owned. They smashed
How did
everything
they
up.
find
And
out though? How did they find out?
the feds investigate you. So you'll be sitting there selling drugs. You're oblivious. You don't know. You're
So they
selling
looked
drugs.
into her email? I mean, how did they find this?
I don't know. They probably had somebody who told. Maybe along the way someone got caught with drugs and maybe told on her. I don't know. We didn't get into that
Maybe the
part and how
priest
she got caught.
maybe the priest got caught.
Maybe he went in the confessional and confessed to the police. Could be.
He confessed to another priest that told on him.
It's crazy. Maybe the priest had to get it off his chest when he was bothering him too much or something.
Wow.
Crystal meth in Connecticut. Like what church is he at? Is he at my church? I'm in Connecticut. That's crazy. You never know,
Well, we
right?
didn't talk about what the priest got. Did he get a sentence? Did he go to jail?
Yeah, he did. He got
Who went
caught
to
too.
jail?
She said they got arrested all at the same time.
Oh, well, the priest too. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was in Connecticut and she was
Yeah.
yeah.
Everyone involved, the guy she was with, the priest, everyone got caught at the same time.
Wow.
So the feds, when the feds do an investigation, they
Yeah.
are not going to come and arrest you unless they have enough to convict you. They're not gonna. They're going to let you give them enough evidence. They're going to let you keep going until you really give them a case that is solid. And then once that is solid, they're going to sign the papers, they're going to snatch you up, and you're going to prison. And it's a 98% conviction rate in the feds. So if you fuck around and get caught by the feds out there, you don't want to, don't
No,
even
you're
play the
going. You're
game.
going. No matter what, you're going to jail. You're
You're
going
going
to
to
jail.
prison. Whether it's
Yeah.
your first offense or your 80th offense, you're going to prison.
Wow.
But we got a good one for next week.
Yes.
Stay tuned, and we're going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to drop a little video this week during the week, and we're going to give you a clue on what to do and where to go for the giveaway. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be good. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Kathrina. It's been
Thank
absolutely
you.
great.
I'm loving doing the show. I'm loving it.
We're just getting
Really.
started.
I know.
You know, We have a lot more to go. We got William Steele from Inmate to Roommate. We have an we got a current inmate who's in prison now who's going to talk to us. A couple
Wow.
different states. I have a couple different people from different states. So we're going to change it up a little bit. It'll
Amazing.
be good.
Thank you, Bill.
Of course. No problem. And if you guys like this type of content, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like it, leave a comment and tell us why.
No,
Thanks.
nobody leaves bad comments.
Listen, if they don't like the show,
No.
tell us why so we could change it, right?
What is there not to like?
I don't know. I'm sure they'll find something.
No, there is nothing.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
You have a great week.
You
Have a
too.
great weekend, and I'll see you next Monday.
See you.